right, thanks for joining us today for this quick look at Thor number 44 from the War of the Realms set. We're going to take a look at what she does, her fantastic trait, and her two special powers. And then we're going to break it down on the battlefield to give you some examples so you get an understanding of what makes this figure so great. She is a unique, so as good as she is, you can only use one of her, which is appropriate. She is coming in with the Asgardian, Avengers, and Deity keywords. So 3 solid keywords that have a bunch of different build options out there. Let me know in the comments below how you plan on using this figure. Her point value is low enough that you can build around her. Okay, let's take a look at her trait. So what she has here is something that's similar to Darkseid from the JLU set. She has free. If Thor has not been moved or placed this turn, and if no opposing character is adjacent, generate a Mjolnir marker, maximum 1. Also, free, roll 2d6. For each d6 result, you choose the order. Choose a horizontal or vertical direct path from the Mjolnir marker, and then place the marker exactly that many squares away along that direct path. If either path first crosses a square occupied by an opposing character, remove the marker and then make a close attack targeting the character regardless of adjacency. Or, if the path crosses a piece of blocking terrain, remove the marker and then destroy that piece of blocking terrain. Okay, a couple things to keep in mind here. Direct path is, for this one, you can only do a horizontal or vertical. You choose one of those options for each one of the d6s that you roll, which means you can choose vertical, vertical, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, or horizontal, vertical. You cannot go diagonal direct paths with this power. Okay, the other thing to notice is if it first crosses a path occupied by an opposing character, you make a close attack. So that's just a close attack, not a power of any kind. You just make the close attack. Since it's a close attack, then things that interact with close attacks also interact with this. Things like enhancement or empower, or anything like close combat expert, or anything else that interacts with close attack interacts with this. All right, she also has charge as a special movement power, and it gives her charge when Thor uses it. If her marker is not on the map, don't half speed. And then she has a special defense power, which is impervious, and then also energy shield deflection, but only if the marker is not on the map. Okay, let's take a look at the back of a card so you can see which clicks have those specials on it. So she comes in at just 100 points with the Avengers team ability, which means when this character is given a move action, modify speed +1. She has no range. She does fly. For 100 points, you're starting her on the top click with a 10 movement, which is the special charge, the 11 attack, 18 defense, which is the special defense that we just looked at, which gives her the energy shield if her marker isn't on the map and gives her impervious, and then the 4 damage. Okay, if she does get hit, the clicks number 3 and 4, that special defense is no longer there. Her special full range charge when Mjolnir is not on the map, that only exists on the top 2 clicks. So if she gets hit, you're getting her knocked on to sidestep, quake, toughness, and outwit. And then on her last 3 clicks, it's going to be flurry, quake, back to that special defense, and then close combat expert. Okay, her trait though is going to be there the whole time. At the end of that dial, that's one of those examples of things that interact with close attacks, is close combat expert. So when she's doing that on click 5, 6, and 7, when she's doing her trait, those close attacks, if it crosses an opponent, would be an 11 attack for 4 damage. Okay, let's take a look on the battlefield at what she does. Okay, let's take a look at this scenario so you can kind of get a full understanding. I know that her trait, it's a lot of words in there. Sometimes it can be confusing to people, especially if you're not used to playing that. If you haven't played Dark Side, then this might be something new for you. So let's break it down. For this example, we'll run through a couple examples. We're going to say Thor is on our team. We're not going to have any other team build with her. We're just going to focus in on her trait and her special powers. We're going to say Zemo here is opponent's team, same with Wrecker, and same with Dazzler. So these three are here. If you can't see the map, there's some blocking terrain here. There's a square, 4 squares of blocking terrain right here. Square of blocking right there next to Wrecker in front of Dazzler. And some more quad of blocking over here, 4 squares of it next to each other. Okay, so we're going to just pick it up right where it's at. We're going to say that Thor has not been moved, so then we can go ahead and take that free action if she hasn't been moved or placed this turn, and nobody's adjacent to her, so all that criteria is met. We can generate the Mjolnir marker. So we're going to use this as the Mjolnir marker, and we'll put it adjacent. So it could go in any one of these squares adjacent to her, but we will go ahead and just put it there, I guess. Okay. And then we'll actually play it out with some die rolls and see how it goes. So then that's a free action all by itself. So that free action's done. Now we could free roll 2d6. So let's do that. We'll take our 2d6 roll, and what we have here is a 6, and then right here is a 1. So we have a 6 and a 1. Then we can choose horizontal or vertical for each one of those. So for this particular one, what we need to get to him, if we did horizontal first, we could go 1, or we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or we could do 2 horizontals. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 more, 7. Okay, but on this one, we could go 1, and then we're going to choose vertical for the number 6, and we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we place the marker there. Now it first crossed a path of an opposing character, so that character then we would make the close attack. This would go away, and then we would be doing close attack on Zemo. Okay, on her top click, that would be an 11 attack for 4 damage, just as it sits there with no additional equipment or team builds behind her. Okay, now since the marker's gone, then there's no marker on the map, so now her special attack power, she has that charge. No marker on the map, she can do charge, and she does not have speed. And she also has her special defense, impervious, and then since there's no marker on the map, she has energy shield deflection. She flies, so after that close attack with Mjolnir, then she could charge full distance, so she could go 10 and then attack somebody. Okay, she could go over here and make an attack on Dazzler. Okay, so that's one way that that can play out. Now, things that do not work together. She could not, there's no Mjolnir on the map, so she could just right away go ahead and do a full movement charge. And let's say she just goes here and attacks Wrecker. Now, she could not then take her free action to generate Mjolnir because, first of all, she's been moved or placed, and then second, she is adjacent to an opposing character. So you couldn't do it that way. Okay, it's only if she has not been moved or placed. Okay, so now let's say that the same placement as we had before. Let's say she does take that free action. She generates Mjolnir in this square this time. And let's say she rolls a 2 and a 2. So she could do 2 this way and then another 2. She could go 2 this way and another 2 that way. She could go 2 this way and 2 that way. But nothing where she's going to be able to get it to cross the path of one of these opponent's figures. So your options here are, she could leave Mjolnir on the map. She could go 1, 2, 1, 2, and move it here. Okay, now she doesn't get the benefit since that's on the map. She doesn't have energy shield, and she just has regular charge. With this type of placement, that might be okay because she could still charge 5 to get to 1, 2, 3, 4. She can get to all of those characters with just that little bit of charge. But say she didn't want to do that. She wanted to get that Mjolnir. She put it out there. Her dice rolls didn't really go with her to her advantage, so she can't really get it to anybody. But she does want to be able to full distance charge or have energy shield. She could do that 2 and 2 to get it to blocking, hopefully. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Then she could go there, cross the blocking first. This goes away. It busts that blocking up. Mjolnir is now off the map, so now she has her full distance charge back to go and do what she wants to do. Okay, so some things to keep in mind there on how you can use the marker and the advantages, disadvantages, how the placement can be used either to hopefully get a good roll to be able to reach somebody, or maybe be able to just bust a piece of blocking to get it off the map and then get a full distance charge and energy shield back. All right, these figures I think are super fun. I had a lot of fun playing Darkside when it came out, and the same here, 100 points. To be able to do that, to throw a marker out there, she could be sitting back in the starting area and just letting the marker zip around the map. I think that's super cool and can kind of change the dynamics of the gameplay. Your opponent's strategy then drastically changes because there's this unknown thing flying around the map. You can build around her at 100 points. You can build different ways to increase that attack and or damage value to make that flying Mjolnir marker even more potent. All right, let me know some of your ideas for how you plan to use her in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Check it out. If you dig what we do, go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.